Welcome to Malifaux University. 304. Deploying, choosing schemes, and starting the game. Now that you have finished hiring your crew and you both have revealed your crews to each other, it is time to deploy your models, choose your schemes, and get the game started. To deploy your models, the attacker divides his models into two groups, with any number of models in each group. Now, you may get all snarky and say, 0 is a number, so can't one of the groups have 0 models in it? Yeah, actually it can. The defender chooses one of the attacker's two groups of models for the attacker to deploy first. The attacker puts those models completely within his deployment zone, which means no part of the base may extend beyond the deployment zone. Once that first group is on the table, the defender then deploys his entire crew completely within his deployment zone. Once the defender's crew is down, the attacker then deploys his second group of models completely within his deployment zone. Let's see this in action. Colette Dubois' performers are the attackers, and the Dreamer's Nightmare crew is the defender. The attacker has divided the performer crew into two groups. Colette, her 3 mechanical doves, and the 2 showgirls are in one group, while Carlos Vasquez, Cassandra Felton, Angelica Durand, and the 2 Coryphees are in the other. The Dreamer player chooses the second group of performer models to be deployed first. The performer player arranges those models according to his plans completely within his deployment zone. The Dreamer then deploys his entire crew, keeping them all completely within the deployment zone. After seeing where the Neverborn models are on the table, the performer player puts the rest of his crew down, keeping them entirely inside the deployment zone. The last step before picking schemes is to resolve any after-deployment abilities or game effects. If there are multiple effects that need to be resolved, the attacker is the one who determines the order. Let's say in our Colette Dubois versus the Dreamer game, Colette brought Charles Hoffman, Inventor, as a secondary master, and the Dreamer hired a Waldgeist out of Keyword because he likes spooky trees. Charles Hoffman's Arc Nodes ability creates 4 pylon markers on the Arcanist half of the table after deploying, and the Waldgeist's Abundant Growth ability creates an underbrush marker after deploying. If the Arcanist player is the attacker, he can choose for the Neverborn player to put the underbrush marker on the table first, or he can put the pylon markers down first. There are pros and cons to both choices, but that's for you to decide. For the players who are experienced enough to use the knowledge of the opponent's crew to shape their personal gameplay, this is where you try to predict what schemes your opponent will pick and how you might counter those while scoring points in your own schemes. For the rest of us, you now pick 2 schemes from the pool of 5. You hopefully took the available schemes into consideration when you were hiring your crew, if you have enough models to make choices like that. If you don't have models that are particularly strong in combat, but are capable at moving great distances, consider schemes that involve placing models in certain areas of the playing area over schemes that involve killing models. If you have models that manipulate scheme markers effectively, there are schemes that play to those strengths as well. Pick any 2 schemes and keep them a secret from your opponent. As discussed in the previous video, you are not required to write down which schemes you select, but it's a good practice and good sportsmanship to do so. Some schemes require you to select a certain model you intend to kill or manipulate for points. This should always be written down, so it may be revealed at the proper time. Details and examples of scoring each strategy and scheme are in the 500 series of videos. In the Crew Builder app, tap the Select My Schemes checkbox. This will drop down each of the 5 schemes in the pool for your game. Tapping any of their names will pop up an explanation of how that scheme can be scored. Keep in mind that your schemes will not be shared with your opponent, and you will not see your opponent's schemes in your app until they are revealed and you start scoring. Some schemes require you to target a specific model in your crew or your opponent's crew. In this game, Take Prisoner is a scheme like this. If you select one of these, a pop-up will require you to make that selection now. The cool feature is that since you will have already imported your opponent's crew, it provides a list of the models eligible for this scheme. In this way, you don't give away what your scheme is by asking your opponent to see her stat cards. After you select a model and hit OK, you can always check to see which model you targeted for the scheme by tapping the name of the scheme again. The target model now appears in the description of the scheme. Remember that if there are multiple copies of your target model on the board, you are targeting a specific one. In this example, we selected a Stitch Together. There are 3 in the Dreamer's crew, but only the first one is eligible for scoring this scheme because that's the one we picked in the app. Stitch Together 2 and Stitch Together 3 don't count. I'll take a brief moment now to thank all those who were patrons at the time this video was made, especially Griff, Sergey, Tom, Alan, Jeremy, Mikolai, and Travis, and many more at the free student tier. Your support is essential to bringing these videos to life. With models deployed and schemes selected, both players return any cards used to set up the game back into their decks and shuffle. Each player lets the opponent cut his deck. You don't have to cut your opponent's deck, but you must always offer to let your opponent cut. This is the final moment before the beginning of turn 1. If any models in play have any abilities or effects that say, at the start of the game, now is the time for them to take place. One common example is the From the Shadows ability, possessed by several models. This ability states, this model may be deployed at the start of the game rather than during deployment. If Colette Dubois had hired a December Acolyte out of Keyword into her crew, she would have kept that model on the side of the playing area while deploying. After the decks were shuffled and the game about to begin, she would place the Acolyte anywhere on the table at least 6 inches away from the enemy deployment zone as described in the ability on the card. Just like with after deployment effects, if there are multiple models that have abilities or effects to resolve at this time, the attacker determines the order they are resolved. The next video will discuss everything that happens in the start phase of each turn. That's the overview of deploying, choosing schemes, and starting the game. Pick up a printable set of all the markers and tokens you need to play Malifaux in the Wargames Vault. If you haven't already, join our Patreon for early, ad-free access to all new content. And be sure to visit the Malifaux University gift shop for the latest in Malifaux-themed shirts, hoodies, drinkware, and more. Links are in the notes below. And remember, play friendly games, keep it simple, and have fun.